The return to Mar-a-Lago, a platform for pronouncements. On January 7, 2025, former President Donald Trump held a press conference at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida. This event, coming just days before his planned return to the Oval Office, became a stage for a series of pronouncements that sent ripples across the global landscape. His statements, ranging from the fate of American hostages held in Gaza to potential military actions in Panama and Greenland, have left the world watching with a mix of anticipation and apprehension. Trump's choice of Mar-a-Lago as the venue for this significant address was not accidental. The luxurious estate, often referred to as the Winter White House during his first presidency, holds a symbolic significance. It represents a space where Trump feels comfortable, even powerful, in delivering his message directly to the American people, often bypassing traditional media filters. The press conference, eagerly anticipated by both supporters and critics, was broadcast live across major news networks. The atmosphere was charged with a sense of history repeating itself, as Trump, known for his unpredictable nature and unconventional approach to foreign policy, took center stage once again. As the world listened intently, one thing became abundantly clear: the stakes were high, and Trump's words carried the weight of potential consequences that could reshape the geopolitical landscape. Ticking clock hostage crisis in Gaza dominates headlines. The press conference began with the issue that had been dominating headlines for weeks: the ongoing hostage crisis in Gaza. Since their capture, the plight of the American hostages had gripped the nation, becoming a focal point of news cycles and political discourse. Families of the hostages made tearful pleas for their safe return, while experts debated the possible outcomes of negotiations with Hamas. Trump, with his characteristic bluntness, issued a stark warning. He declared that all hell will break out if the hostages were not released by his inauguration on January 20th. This statement, delivered with a gravitas that commanded attention, instantly heightened the tension surrounding the already volatile situation. The message was clear: Trump was setting a hard deadline, and the world awaited Hamas's response with bated breath. While he refrained from specifying the exact actions he would take if the deadline was not met, the implication was clear: military intervention remained a distinct possibility. The hostage crisis, already a complex and delicate situation, had just been thrust into the global spotlight, with Trump's words casting a long shadow over the already fraught negotiations. A looming shadow: the fate of American hostages in Gaza. While Trump's ultimatum dominated the initial headlines, there were glimmers of hope emerging from the shadows of the hostage crisis. Behind the scenes, diplomatic efforts were underway, spearheaded by Trump's newly appointed Middle East envoy. Reports surfaced of ongoing negotiations in Qatar, a country known for its role as a mediator in past conflicts involving Hamas. Sources close to the negotiations indicated that Hamas was open to the possibility of a ceasefire deal, which would include the release of 34 hostages, including the 2 American citizens. Trump's envoy, speaking on condition of anonymity, expressed cautious optimism about the potential for a breakthrough. He hinted at positive announcements regarding the hostages' fate, potentially even before the January 7th press conference. These statements, carefully measured and avoiding any premature declarations of victory, offered a glimmer of hope in what remained a deeply uncertain and volatile situation. The fate of the American hostages, hanging in the balance, became a delicate dance between diplomatic efforts and the looming threat of military action. The world watched and waited, hoping for a peaceful resolution while bracing for the potential consequences should diplomacy fail. Panama Canal: a history of American intervention and Trump's renewed interest. The press conference took an unexpected turn when Trump shifted his focus to Panama. In a move that surprised many observers, he refused to rule out the use of military force to seize control of the Panama Canal. This declaration, delivered with a matter-of-fact tone, instantly resurrected historical tensions and raised questions about America's intentions in the region. The Panama Canal, a vital waterway connecting the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, has long been a focal point of American foreign policy. Its construction in the early 20th century was a testament to American engineering prowess, but also marked a period of significant intervention in Panamanian affairs. The 1989 U.S. invasion of Panama, while successfully removing Manuel Noriega from power, remains a contentious issue in the region. a reminder of America's willingness to use military force to protect its interests. Trump's comments, while lacking specifics, seem to suggest a potential return to a more interventionist approach in the region. He cited national and economic security as justification for his stance, echoing arguments made by previous administrations. However, his willingness to put military options on the table so openly sent shockwaves through diplomatic circles, raising concerns about a potential escalation of tensions. The Panama Canal, once a symbol of American ingenuity in global trade, now found itself at the center of a renewed geopolitical debate, with Trump's words casting a long shadow over its future. Section 5. Greenland in the crosshairs, a history of territorial ambitions. Trump's pronouncements on potential military action weren't limited to Panama. In a move that surprised even his closest advisors, he extended his gaze northward, towards the icy expanse of Greenland. Echoing his previously stated interest in purchasing the island during his first term, Trump declared that Greenland's strategic location and vast natural resources made it a prime target for American interests. Greenland, the world's largest island, holds a unique position in the Arctic region. Its vast reserves of hydrocarbons, rare earth minerals and uranium, coupled with its strategic location along increasingly important shipping routes, have made it a focal point of geopolitical interest in recent years. Climate change, with its potential to open up new shipping lanes and resource extraction opportunities, has only intensified this interest. Trump's renewed focus on Greenland, however, was met with swift and decisive condemnation from Denmark, which maintains sovereignty over the island. The Danish Prime Minister, in a strongly worded statement, reiterated that Greenland was not for sale, emphasizing the island's right to self-determination. This sentiment was echoed by Greenland's own government, which has repeatedly stated its desire to remain a part of the Kingdom of Denmark. Despite the clear opposition from both Denmark and Greenland, Trump's comments highlight the growing geopolitical significance of the Arctic region. As climate change continues to reshape the Arctic landscape, competition for resources and strategic advantage is likely to intensify, making Greenland a key player in the evolving global order. Section 6. Gulf of America, renaming the Gulf of Mexico. In a move seemingly designed to provoke and grab headlines, Trump made a series of additional geopolitical pronouncements that ranged from the audacious to the absurd. He floated the idea of renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, arguing that the current name did not adequately reflect the United States' dominant position in the region. This proposal, met with a mixture of amusement and bewilderment by international observers, seemed to reflect Trump's penchant for symbolic gestures aimed at asserting American dominance. However, the likelihood of such a name change being adopted by international bodies, or even recognized by other countries, is slim to none. The Gulf of Mexico, a body of water bordered by the United States, Mexico, and Cuba, has long been a region of significant economic and strategic importance. Its vast oil and gas reserves, along with its vital role in shipping and trade, make it a crucial waterway for all three countries. Trump's proposal to rename the Gulf, while unlikely to gain any traction, highlights the ongoing tensions and power dynamics at play in the region. Section 7. Canada, a proposed annexation and trade tensions. Trump's unconventional geopolitical pronouncements continued as he turned his attention northward, this time towards Canada. In a move that stunned many, he suggested that Canada should consider joining the United States, arguing that such a union would create a stronger and more prosperous North America. This proposal, met with a mixture of disbelief and amusement by Canadians, seemed to reflect Trump's worldview, which often prioritizes American dominance and disregards long-standing alliances and diplomatic norms. Canada, a proud and independent nation with its own unique history and culture, is highly unlikely to entertain such a proposition. Trump's comments on Canada went beyond this audacious proposal. He also took aim at the U.S. trade deficit with Canada, criticizing what he perceived as unfair trade practices. He specifically targeted the automotive and lumber industries, threatening to impose tariffs and renegotiate existing trade deals. These comments, reminiscent of his protectionist rhetoric during his first term, raised concerns about a potential trade war between the two close allies. Trump's statements on Canada, while lacking in diplomatic finesse and divorced from political realities, underscore the complex and often fraught relationship between the two North American neighbors. Section 8, January 6, Pardons and Persistent Falsehoods. In a move that reignited domestic controversy, Trump used the press conference as a platform to address the lingering issue of the January 6 Capitol attack. He reiterated his plans to pardon defendants charged in connection with the insurrection, including those facing charges for violent offenses. This declaration, met with outrage by many, was seen as a direct assault on the rule of law and an attempt to whitewash a dark chapter in American history. Trump's defense of the January 6 rioters went beyond offering pardons. He continued to downplay the severity of the attack, falsely claiming that the rioters were unarmed and posed no real threat to the Capitol or lawmakers. These claims, contradicted by overwhelming evidence including numerous videos and eyewitness accounts, further inflamed tensions and fueled the ongoing debate about the events of that day. Perhaps most alarmingly, Trump used the press conference to spread a baseless conspiracy theory, suggesting that Hezbollah, the Lebanese political party and militant group, was somehow involved in the January 6 attack. This unfounded allegation, presented without any evidence, was widely condemned as an attempt to deflect blame and sow further division. Trump's pronouncements on January 6, far from offering closure or promoting healing, served as a stark reminder of the fragility of American democracy and the ongoing threat posed by misinformation and extremism. Section 9. Conclusion. Navigating the global chessboard. Trump's January 7 press conference at Mar-a-Lago was a masterclass in his signature brand of disruptive diplomacy. From hostage ultimatums to territorial ambitions, his pronouncements sent shockwaves across the globe, leaving world leaders scrambling to decipher their meaning and potential consequences. The press conference underscored Trump's willingness to challenge established norms and pursue an America First agenda, even at the risk of alienating allies and escalating tensions. His statements on the Middle East, Panama, Greenland, Canada, and the January 6 attack revealed a worldview often at odds with the realities of global politics and diplomacy. As the world braces for Trump's return to the Oval Office, one thing is certain: the global chessboard has been shaken, and the pieces are still in play. The coming years will reveal whether Trump's bold pronouncements were merely opening gambits or harbingers of a more turbulent and unpredictable world order.